William, you have a tour level downswing. However, I do see a couple things that we can do in your setup position and your backswing. So what you're going to see here is that you're standing very, very tall. You're standing very, very close to the golf ball. I want you to bend further over at the waist. I want you to scoot just a little bit further away from the ball there. That's going to provide you with a little bit more space between your hands and your body. Now, diving into your backswing, your hands are going to work out and away from you, and the club head is going to work inside and underneath of the plane. That is going to cause you to get very shallow or flat halfway back. However, I will say, you do a really good job, and most people don't do this, but you do a pretty good job of getting up to a really solid top position. Okay, you can see lead arm might be a little bit above your shoulder plane. Hands are pretty deep over your heels. Club face kind of matches lead arm there. The shaft is basically right on plane there. So this is pretty good. And that's really why you're able to come down in transition and shallow the club back down onto the original plane. Okay, so you do have the tendency in transition, maybe just a little bit, to spin this lower body. Hands and arms might just get a little bit stuck behind and you have to stall and throw. But downswing, I think, is pretty darn good. What I want you to do to optimize your backswing is I want you to put a stick out 2 feet behind you, covering your hands from down the line. And if you're somebody watching this video, you should probably do this too. Your hands ideally would work in the stick or inside of the stick. Your club head would stay up and outside the stick. Right now, you would do the opposite. Okay, your hands would work out and the club head would work in. You would hit the stick, which is exactly why we want to use feedback when we're practicing, because you would know that you just did it wrong. What this is going to do is get the shaft's momentum working a little bit more in your favor. Instead of too shallow or flat, it'll look right back at the ball or slightly inside the ball. And that'll just make shallowing the club a little bit easier for you in transition. However, I will say you already shallow the club pretty well.